Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode on Faith Like Wildflowers podcast. It has been a couple months, um, and yeah, I haven't posted for a while. I post reels or like some posts every once in a while on the Instagram, but I haven't posted on the podcast itself on Spotify or on YouTube in a while. I think the last time I posted, honestly, might have been the Easter episode that I made, talking about the greatest love story of all time, Jesus coming down to die for us. So I, like I said before, I just post whenever I feel led or when God places something on my heart. And I was just kind of going through a drier season and a busy season. And I'm still very busy. I just got back from Romania a week ago. And I have about a month and a couple weeks before I leave for DTS for 5 months, which I am super excited to do. I will be going to, I guess I never announced this on the podcast. I will be going to YWAM, Alberta, Canada. It's in Medicine Hat, Alberta, Canada. And I will be doing 3 months of lecture and 2 months of outreach. We don't know the country that we are doing outreach in yet. I'll find out a month into the school. So I am super, super, super excited for that and starting to prep for that, working a lot and babysitting a lot in between. But I wanted to come on, and since I have a little mission series going on, talking about the different mission trips I've been on and what we did and my experiences with it and everything, I wanted to come on here and share about Romania since I just got back from Romania. So yeah, the start of the trip and the travels was very rough. So, my church team goes to Galati, Romania every year. And then some of us sometimes stay extra and go to another city. So 3 of us stayed extra, 3 including myself, and we were in Hateg then. But because 3 of us were staying extra, we were on a different itinerary from the rest of our group. And we also travel over with other groups that are going to other cities for the same kind of camp, just in different cities. And so we all were supposed to be on one flight together. That flight got canceled the day before we were supposed to leave, and the airport put us on 4 different flights. So it was the rest of our Weaverland group in one group, and then us three that were staying extra were put with another 3 people that we already knew, that were going to a different city, and then another 2 people on another flight, and then another person on another flight. And so my group, our flight was going to be the earliest. It was going to leave at 2:30 p.m. and the other flights were going to leave within the 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock p.m. time frame. So we met at like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning and drove to JFK, which is 3 hours away, and got to the airport around 9, got checked in, went through TSA, all of that. We're at our gate like 3 or 4 hours early, and we were just chilling. And then our flight got delayed like 20 minutes and then eventually got delayed like another 3 or 4 times an hour. And we were supposed to originally fly from JFK to Boston and then have a 3-hour layover, and then from Boston to Paris have like an hour or so layover, and then from Paris to Bucharest, Romania. But eventually our flight was delayed so much that we were going to then miss our next flight and then obviously our following flight. And so we literally, 2 guys from our group of 6 that were flying with us were at the help desk for literally like 45 minutes trying to figure out what flights would work, and like all of them were going to get us there too late, and we needed to be in Romania that specific day in order for the rest of the plans to go smoothly and for us to be able to get to our cities that we were supposed to go to. And so we were just like, that's not going to work, that's not going to work, that's not going to work. By this time, after our flights are being delayed and we're talking to the help desk and everything, the other groups that are leaving later are already at the airport and checked in. So the rest of our Weaverland group is coming to visit us where we're at in the airport because they were at a different spot at the airport, because they had plenty of time before their next flight. And on their way there, I called them and I was like, guys, can you just please pray? Like, nothing is working out. We're not finding a flight. Like, this is not working and it's not looking good. And so I don't know the exact timeline of when they prayed and when we actually got a flight, because I wasn't up talking to the help desk. 2 guys from our team were, and I was just standing out of the way with a couple others from our team. But I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think shortly after they prayed or right after they prayed is when we found a flight. And we actually got booked on the same flight as them. The first flight that they had was pretty empty, but the second flight was pretty full. And so I think that's the flight that when they told us that there was only 6 spots left, which is what we needed, that they booked us on it. And so that is just like super cool, such a God thing. And we went on that first flight, and then our second flight, someone that was on another flight that was meeting us there and then connecting on that same flight with us to go to Bucharest, was holding the flight for us because we were running and rushing through customs and everything to make that next flight, because our first flight was just us sitting at the gate waiting for some technical issue or something for like 20 minutes. And then when we got to our layover place, we had to wait on the plane like another 20 minutes for our gate to open. So we were kind of running a little behind and had to run to our next flight and rush through customs and everything. And the customs lines were long and taking a while. But we made it. All of their luggage made it. Us 6 that our flight kept getting delayed, they never even put it on our first flight. So we didn't have our luggage for like 3 days, which, excuse me, we had extra outfits in our suitcases or in our backpacks. So we only had to buy a church outfit on Sunday, and it worked out fine. But a very, very, very rough series of events for the beginning travels to Romania. Then when we, sorry, I'm like trying to read this all as I go through with you guys. Our first day in Romania after we landed, we had supper at a place with the whole group of other teams too, and just like got to know the other teams and everything. And then the following day, we went to see the Parliament Palace and the cathedral and things, and then started our drive to the cities. And we were on a mini bus type thing, and we dropped off the folk Sean team, and then we had lunch with that church, and then we drove to Galatz. And when we got to Galatz, we settled in and then rushed off to Emmanuel Church for a volunteer supper and meeting, and got to know a lot of the volunteers. And it was so fun getting to see everyone again and getting to catch up with some of them. And then the following day, we walked to church, and I got to see 2 of my really close friends from last year at church for the first time, in our time with Romania again. And I was so happy to see them. It was so much fun getting to see everyone again and getting to see some of the people that I've stayed in contact with over the year. It's such a blessing to be able to like go overseas, and then you literally get to know people so quickly. You feel like you know them forever, and you really only knew them for 4 or 5 days. And then you have to leave. It's so sad. I'm really struggling with being back and just like missing it so much. I love missions so much, and so it's always so hard for me to come back. But I'm really looking forward to DTS as well, and I hope to go back to Romania next year. So at church, we actually got to see a baptism, which was super cool. They at this church would share the testimonies, which weren't translated for us, unfortunately. I wish that they would have been. But it was super cool to be able to witness that and see that. And then that evening, we went to the youth group, and I got to see another friend that I hadn't seen all year round and got really close to last year. And she actually surprised me. I didn't think I was going to be able to see her at all. So that was super exciting. And then we had supper that night. with a lot of the youth group. And then the following day was the day that we like go to the camp, help set up things, and then help or like run through what the camp's gonna look like. One of our team members from the States, one of our American team members was actually, she got like sick on the flight. Something with the flight messed with her and she was staying back. And so two of us, one of them being myself, went back to hang out with her because she was just kind of being alone a lot and wanted people to be with her. And honestly, I don't blame her. And I was at the simulation before last year and at camp last year, so I knew what it was like. And I honestly think it kind of would have been a little boring to run through it again. So I was glad that we could go back, play games with her, talk with her, go for a walk, and get some ice cream and things. And then, oh, that morning, I literally completely skipped over this. My friend that I was closest to from Romania picked me and a couple other girls up, and we went to a fun garden and got some pictures and stuff, which is super fun. And then we went to get ice cream, and then she came back to the hotel with us before we went to camp. And then I was eventually brought back to hang out with the one that was sick. But we exchanged gifts. I brought her some stuff from America, and she gave me some stuff from Romania, and it was super, super fun, super sweet. And then let's see. The following day was the first day of camp. I was yellow team, 11 and 12-year-olds, both weeks, which is actually super cool. And it was different this year because a lot of them knew English. Some of them didn't know English very well, but like they would translate for each other. But it was a lot easier to communicate with my team this year versus last year when it was the youngest group and they did not know English very well at all. Only a couple of them did. And I very quickly was noticing who the mischievous kids were and was starting to like make connections with them so that they earn my respect and then they would listen to me a lot better than they would listen to some of the others. And yeah, it's super fun to just get hyped during the Psalms and to interact with the kids all week. And I attempted to have a deep conversation with one kid at the end of the week. I don't know how deep it resonated with him. When I was explaining to him about the skit, the theme this year was Follow Me, talking about Peter and Jesus, and their relationship and how Peter, was called to follow him and how they would get close and everything. And then Peter would deny him and then Jesus would take him back and be like, hey, it's okay. And so, the kids on the third day also had like the opportunity to write out their different sins and then just like recommit to following Christ or commit to following Christ for the first time and pray one-on-one with people, which was also super cool to see. And so I try to have a conversation with the kid after that, but I don't know how much the conversation resonated with him. He more just wanted to talk about random stuff he was interested in. But I do hope that it planted a seed within him. Excuse me. Last year, there was a couple different workshops that I explained. This year, they had 2 new workshops, so they had only 1 games this year. And they replaced craft with travel workshop and would do a craft within travel, and they would like learn about different countries each day. And then they also had a careers and like jobs and skills workshop, which was super cool. And they had someone for a couple different careers or like jobs come in and talk to about them, give them some things related to the job, like an electrician came in and they got to like make little fans and put like the electrical circuit together and stuff, which was super cool. And then they got to keep them. I had the first week 2 sweet girls that I was team captains with, and they would translate for me often, and we got pretty close, and they were super, super sweet. Yeah, each day we would just run through our stations. We would lead the kids through them. We would help them with different things and just get close to them, be able to talk to them, play the games with them and everything, which was super fun to run through. Sorry, I'm just like skimming through these. I also don't want to like bore you with everything because if you want, you can watch in more details how the camp runs in last year's Romanian episode as well. And so I don't want to like bore you if you heard all this before. So you can go back and watch that. I'm just running through like different memories and fun things from this year. I guess I could say the things that we did after camp each day. So, after camp on Tuesday, okay, this is Tuesday. Sorry, I'm like trying to find my days. Okay, so after camp on Tuesday, Jerry, one of the 10 Million for Christ people, that goes to Romania each year, he stopped in our city for that night, and so him and me and a couple other Americans went for a walk for a bit, and then we met up with a Romanian and his American fiance, Dennis and Lauren. And we talked to them for a bit too, and then headed back to the hotel. So that night I just kind of went for a walk. And then Wednesday after camp, we had supper at a church with a lot of the volunteers, and then we rushed off and took a boat ride along the river, and we came so close to being in Ukraine and Moldova. Like, it was really close. I have a picture of like how close we were to the border on Google Maps. And we saw a lot of historical buildings along the side and saw lots of wild horses on the side, and it was just so beautiful and pretty to get to see that and everything, and I absolutely loved that. And then after that, we went back to the hotel and quick changed, and then went and played volleyball with a lot of the volunteers, which was super fun as well. There's 2 courts, so there was 4 teams, and we played each team once. And then that was Wednesday. So Thursday after camp, sorry, I'm like all over the place. We tried to evangelize along the river. A lot of people reject in Romania because they are either strong Orthodox or they're like completely atheist against all Christianity or all religions or anything. So a lot of people rejected us. I was able to give little gospels to some of the kids, and then I was able to see an opportunity for one of the guys on our team to go up to a bunch of guys that were like doing pull-ups at the park, because he's the same gender. I like encouraged him to go up and gave him like a opening conversation. He was able to pray with them, which was super cool, and have a good conversation with them. I myself was not able to have a good conversation with anyone though, and got rejected every time. And then Friday after camp, we had supper. Oh, yes. We had supper at the camp. It's like the volunteer celebration meal. And then after camp, we like each workshop in like the Americans and then the Romanian volunteers, like a couple from each group shares about the week and their experiences and whatnot, and then 10 Million for Christ gives some gifts, we give some gifts, just saying thank you and everything, and then we say goodbyes, which is super 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 sad. And so yeah, then the following morning we met up with the Brela team another city, and we drove on a big bus and went to pick up the Folkshan team. And we took a couple people, Romanians from Galati, that were coming to different cities for a second week of camp with us as well. And we drove to Brasov then, and were able to be in the square for a bit. The following day, we went to church in Kodlia, which is really close to Brasov, and it was really fun to be able to get to see the people that I served in camp with last year. I didn't get to see all of them, but I got to see a couple of them in the host family and like directors of the camp. Just super, super fun to be able to get to see them because I didn't think I was going to be able to see them again this year since we weren't going to be serving in Kodlia again. And then we went in the square again that afternoon before the teams that were going home and weren't staying extra left. And as soon as they left, we were with a couple Romanians from Cluj, or from Galati, that were going to be in Cluj, and then me and the two people from my church that stayed extra, as well as a Romanian girl named Alyssa. She actually was coming as an English person because she lived in London most of her life, and so she spoke with like a British accent English. And she moved to Romania 3 years ago, so like she knows Romanian very well as well. Excuse me. So she was coming as like an English person. She kept saying she felt like an imposter. She was so funny, and I enjoyed being with her all week. She came to Hateg with us. But as soon as the big group left, I just feel like when it's a smaller group, the vibes just hit different, and like everyone just acts crazy and they don't really care what others think about them. Not that some people don't when it's in a big group too. It's just like a lot different dynamics. And so we were jamming the music in the car. I tell you, jamming and just acting crazy as soon as we got in the van with like a smaller group of people, and it was so much fun. We went to the mall and got Monopoly, and then we went and got dinner at a restaurant, and then we also invited a girl that lives in Brasov from Romania, Amalia, to join us. One of my close friends from last year as well, who I roomed with when we were in Kodlia and served at Kodlia camp with her. And so that was super fun. And then we played Monopoly super late into the night, even though we all said that we wanted to go to bed early because we were all so tired. And it was so much fun. And then the following day, we left to drive to Hateg, and they left later to go to Cluj, so we split up from that group then. And when we got to Hateg, we went straight to the church where the camp was to run through like the simulation and help set things up and whatnot. And I legit forgot how overwhelming it was when you walk into a place and you don't know anyone, and they're all just like, "Hi, my name is, hi, my name is, hi, my name is," and I'm like, I am not going to remember any of your names for the first couple days. And then once again, by the end of the week, was so much reminded of how quickly in Romania and with these camps, you get to know the people so, so well, and you feel like you've known them forever, and you literally met them 4 or 5 days before. And it's so much fun. And like, I still stay in contact with some of them a week later, and I know I'll stay in contact with them forever. Like, just such sweet and genuine people. And I love Romania, and I love its people so much. And I want to go back every single year. I love it. I love it. I would literally move there for a while too. Like, I love the place. And Hateg is in the mountains, Galati is in the cities, and Kolia was in the mountains as well. I love how the second week camps that I've been to are in the mountains, and so I get a little taste of both, but I just love the mountains so much, even at home. So it's so beautiful to get to go and have camp in the mountains as well. That week I again was with 11 and 12-year-olds, yellow team, which is super fun. Hateg does things a little differently than Romania, so like games would be in the morning as a whole group, which they don't know if they'll do that next year or not. But then we would have all of our workshops, and I was with a girl and a guy team leaders and got super close to them as well, and it was super fun to get to serve alongside of them and get to know them really well as well. And I stay in contact with both of them still. And I also got really close to a girl who was running travel workshop. She's 23 though. Her name's Estera. She's super sweet. And I still stay in contact with her a lot and text her a lot. She's one of the closest people that I got to in Hateg, as well as a couple others. But yeah, I miss it so much. We also were with, besides me and Josiah and Kevin, the two people from my church, and Alyssa, the Romanian, we joined, who were already in Hateg, two other Americans from PA, different areas of PA than us though, Jolene and Donna, two women that are much older than us. But they super young spirited, super fun. I enjoyed getting to know them more. And one of them I just met that week, getting to know her for the first time. The one night, Alyssa and I shared our testimonies to each other. Well, two separate nights because we were tired and wanted to go to bed. But we got super close that week and it was super fun. And she's also so funny. She says she's not that crazy, but she's literally so funny. She always claiming she's always tired. We have so many inside jokes as a group and just like, it was so much fun. And I really, really miss it and miss her as well. Yeah, camp each day was getting to know the kids, getting close to a lot of the kids. A lot of the kids absolutely loved the Americans. So it was so much fun. They're all like, Caitlin, Caitlin, Caitlin throughout the week when you take pictures and everything and just talk to me and everything. And it was so much fun. And they like were trying to connect with the little words that some of them knew and then others obviously knew more and they're asking questions and everything. It's also so much fun. Every single year they're all like, how old are you? How old are you? And they're guessing like 22, 23, and I'm like, oh, I'm 19. A lot more people guessed it right this year though, but it is so much fun. And then after camp on Tuesday, we went to the cabin, a cabin up in the mountains a little more, with a bunch of the volunteers. We had this traditional soup, which was so good, and then we played some games with the volunteers. And then Wednesday after camp, we played volleyball, which was super fun. I love volleyball so much. And we had some pretty fair teams and it was super fun. And I was like getting so into it. Like usually I can be a little more reserved and I'm just like not talking as much. I was like, oh, I got it or you got it. And I was like encouraging my team, giving high fives. And I was so into it. It was so much fun. I could have played all night long. It was so much fun. And then Thursday after camp, we were going to go to a monastery, but everyone was so tired and no one felt like doing that. That instead, we just kind of chilled. Our group went to go get supper somewhere. And then we met up with a lot of the volunteers in that evening and played hide and seek and just a couple other games at the church into the late night. I also had a sore throat really, really bad that day. So we ended up getting some prescription before supper as well, and a couple of us went to the store to get a couple things that we needed. And then Friday after camp, we had our celebration meal and did the gifts and the talking and everything. And I was getting so sad because I was going to leave. I gave like a little sentimental talk about how I love Romania and how it's so cool to get to know everyone. I feel like I've known them forever. Again, because I didn't know anyone when I went to this city. And then we decided to play some games with the volunteers the last night as well, which was super fun to do, but then we had to say goodbye, which was so hard. And also that day at camp, so when I went to camp this year, I was kind of like, I really want to have a deep conversation with a kid. I didn't really get to last year, and I hadn't at all the first week or all of that the second week either. And we got to the last day, and I was like really disappointed in myself. I was like, I didn't get to, and I really want to be able to do this. And so then we have like 3 camp songs that we do, and they have motions to and everything, and every camp does them. And so we did one of those songs, and then Hateg does something a little differently where they also have like a worship song that they do. And so we were singing to Te Voi Your Ma, which is talking about like, I will follow you, or Jesus, I think. I don't remember the exact translation that they gave me, but it's something along those lines. And then they had like a prayer, and this was also after the skit. And so I just happened to glance back at a girl, when she's wiping away literally just like one tear. And I like look back and I walk over to her and I give her a hug and I'm like, hey, are you okay? And of course, when I do that, as most girls are like, she starts bawling. And so I'm like, hey, we can go in the back and talk. So we go in the back and I'm just like, hey, what's wrong? And she's like, I've just never felt the love of God like that before. Like, it was just powerful. They were happy tears, tears of joy. And so I was talking to her for a bit. She was telling me about how she can't go to church a lot because her parents don't really go very often at all and don't like to go. They usually just go during the holidays. And she would have to walk like super duper far in order to actually get there. And then she was telling me about how she just doesn't feel like she has anyone around her who has a close relationship to God like she does, or reads their Bible every day or anything, or has the same convictions. A lot of her friends, even some of the friends at camp, will still commit sins and stuff, and it's really hard for her in that aspect. And so I was just encouraging her through all of that. She was sharing a little bit about her past and everything and some of the things that she has struggled with. And like a hard season of her life. And so then I started sharing my testimony with her and just encouraging her. I ended up praying with her, and then we eventually had games starting, and she wanted to be able to participate in them because it was the last day and she wanted to still have fun with friends and everything. And then at the end of the day, before she left, she came up to me and she was like, hey, can you please pray for me again before we leave? And I still talk to her. I just checked in with her today. It's just super fun. Staying in contact and praying for her. But I was so happy to be able to have a deep conversation like that with someone. And I hope that it was really impactful for her. She was thanking me again and again and came back for me to pray for her again, which was super sweet to be able to have that with one of the campers. So yeah, after camp the following day, we left for Cebu, which is like really known for fish in Romania. We had 3 different options, not even really knowing what we were going to do exactly in each option. We just knew whether or not we might be able to go to a church in each of those options. So we ended up choosing the second one. And unfortunately, there was not a church there that we were able to go to then. But we just kind of wanted like a relaxing one. That one sounded the most relaxing after 2 weeks of camp. But we didn't know like what we were going to get to drive through or anything. So that evening, then a couple of us walked out in this like really old town, super pretty, gorgeous, and got some supper and everything. And then the following day, we left Cebu and we took legit the scenic route and went on the Transfergarrison, I think is how you say it, road. So, so, so beautiful. Look it up. It's like actually gorgeous. You go up these windy roads and then you get to see the whole mountain view. It's so pretty. And I've seen Romanian friends like post pictures of when they were there before, but I was like, there's never a chance I'm going to get to go here. They never take American teams through here. Like, it's never going to happen. And we were the first American team to get to go through, even before some of the like 10 Million for Christ directors and the ones who created it. And so I was like, I literally feel like I was living in a fever dream. It was so, so beautiful. And then we drove to Bucharest, and then the following day left for home. But it was just such an amazing trip. So much fun to get to see everyone again, to meet more new people. And I just want to keep going back. I love the country. I love the people. You legit feel like you've known them forever. And it's just such an amazing thing that 10 Million for Christ has going on. And like, you can see the transformation between all the kids, by like the end of the week, and also just from year to year, how much they grow and how impactful the camp really is, and like how powerful they make it, and how much God is present and evident and moving. Um, yeah, beautiful country, beautiful people, beautiful camps. I absolutely love it. It's amazing, and I'm so blessed to have the opportunities to go. So that was Romania and all of my experiences. Yeah, thank you so much for tuning in and listening. And yeah, if you have any episodes of things that you want me to talk about, feel free to reach out, comment, or message me and let me know. And I will definitely pray about it. And if it's something that I feel passionate about or feel like God is really stirring in my heart to share, then I will share. But like I said, I usually just post whenever God places something on my heart or something or if there's something that I'm truly passionate about at the moment. So yeah. But I thank you for all of your support, and I enjoy getting to share different things that God is placing in my heart and different things I'm passionate about with you all. And just getting to talk about the love of Jesus and talking about God. That's why I have this podcast. I just love talking about God. That's why I love going on missions too. So, yeah, I hope you all have a blessed rest of your day.